use the fastest tanks. Although we have seen the mouse sometimes here. And perhaps the cap rush here, Mojo?
There
No?
is a different part of tactic here. So these guys are spotted and they're doing something that Wild Bunch actually expects from them to start a cap. So they would do initial push here on Agorni, Valdir and so on. But this is another kind of tactic because they're actually keeping people completely down. These two tier 9s, if they actually get significantly pushed, they would just disappear and die. The thing that I didn't like from the start in Wild Bunch, they put the Dulinho and 2 tanks again to snipe down, and honestly they didn't perform it well in last several games. But still, their defensive side here, and they played a lot of Murovanka, is almost 67%. So they are experienced team that actually does good decisions here when they play it. And it's just a question, will they realize what's the cheese here from the Rage.Quit?
It looks like it. It looks like Will Bunch are saying, like, don't overcommit here, guys. We expect some sneaky shenanigans from Rage.Quit. And Rage.Quit don't quite have... I mean, it looks like the tanks that were in the forest are a bit hesitant as to which direction they're going to come through. They're coming through very slowly here, Mojo, from the east side of the map.
Well, this game is played for 10 minutes, and I think Wild Bunch is in no rush anywhere. They left Dudulinho down to spot. This is smart. They gathered up all the forces. So if Rage.Quit wants to push them, fine, do it. We are not going to do it for you. There was no enough pressure from Rage.Quit coming in there so that Wild Bunch would even have to lift a finger. Only thing they had to do so far is fire one shot by Kela in that STB in cooldown and knock off the cap of one of the tier 9 Butchats, and that's about it. And there is coming a rotation now by Rage.Quit, but 2 minutes are already gone. If they start blind shooting the bushes now, it's gonna be a huge waste of time, honestly.
Yeah, it looks like Rage.Quit just can't quite decide what they want to do right now. They're very hesitant. Looks like they were going to make a move coming across through the town in the middle, and now they're going to flank down through the east side. The two tier 9s have completely rotated back, and we have number 1 skills in the middle of the map and in the batch at 25. So it looks like so we have Seba and Grimmick there as well. So Seba's hanging back. It looks like Grimmick is a TVP, so okay. And the other tier 9's gone with the Wolfpack through the forest.
Well, they're gonna try to feel out, is there anyone down laying a trap? They have to do it. Be careful, because we've seen several teams leaving tanks down to do some kind of cheese. But there is none of that coming from the Wild Bunch in this moment. They are more compact here, and this is a proper, decent defense by them.
It looks like we have a little bit of an error with the reloading here. Either that Mr. Keller's just changed shells twice in a row there. You could see him reloading there and instantly reloading right after that. But he's in the STB, so STBs don't like load like that.
Oh, he probably just was shooting HEs to break up some obstacles, because if someone is pushing the white one line, there is a lot of breakable houses between positions, example where Agorni is and there. So you can do easier shots while they're trying to push on Keladan.
Oh, he is. Okay, so that's weird. Maybe he's just switching shells with him, can't decide if he wants to shoot APM. There it is again.
No, he fired. He's shooting on stuff, blind shooting, trying to see will he get spotted, will his 6th sense trigger, and probably breaking all the houses. You see, they're pretty much down in front of him.
Okay, so...
And it's like paid already in advance by Wargaming with those accounts, you know?
Doesn't have to worry about how much gold he shoots.
Yes, so he can do whatever he wants. Kiki Merkat here, he is just positioning so he can shoot if Dudo spots something, but he also has to be very careful, yes. Interesting thing is here that actually the Wild Bunch does not have a TVP in this game. They're using a Grille instead. But that TVP that was used by most of the teams, it was usually a position where Agorni is, close to him, proved to be a liability in a lot of moments.
Yep, and this is why Murovanka is fast becoming a undesirable pick for a lot of teams, because it gets very stale very quickly. Once you have a tank in a position like Dudelinho, the attacking team has to spend ages clearing out all these bushes. Now, the attacking teams don't like to do this. It's very boring for them to do. It's very RNG, very random. At the same time, the defending team, whilst they're running down the clock, it's not really fun from them to spend the whole match just sitting in the bush doing nothing. So, it'd be nice to see teams kind of shake up tactics a bit, but at the end of the day, if you're a defending team that works for you, why change it?
Defending team, it's none of their business. Attacking team, they have to think how to do it. Now, Pure Skill is trying to peek all over the place and see, but why? Why? He already knew he spotted. Why did he peek back? That's a misplay for 600 HP.
Pure Skill getting a shot at him in there from Valder. It looked like it came from in the Gorilla.
It was even a low roll if it was only his connection.
Valder's on the reload. He's the only one with shots there. All the autoloaders still have their full clips. So Pure Skill's very lucky there to get away from that. And everything's still in Wild Bunch's favour right now. All their tanks still have full health. Rage.Quit have taken damage on Seba and Pure Skill. But Rage.Quit are on the attack. At some point, they have to either make a move for one of these cap circles, or they have to kill all of the Wild Bunch.
Honestly, I can't even call this a tactical game so far, because on these 6 minutes, we've just seen a lot of time wasting by Rage.Quit mainly, because Wild Bunch, being in defense, they don't have to lift a finger. They roll on Murovanka, and Murovanka is one of 2 most defensive maps here in the league, is to just defend their cap and survive. Why would they go chasing a Rage.Quit in the forest somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, this is compared to other maps. Murovanka is a map where the defending team are more than happy to give up map control to the attacking team, because they only need to control specific points, specific avenues really in areas of attack. The rest of the map, it doesn't really matter if they have vision on, because at some point the enemy team is going to have to come to them, and they have a lot of ground to cover to do so.
Well, let's see how it goes. 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and this will be the final push for Rage.Quit here. They will have 1 or 2 reloads, depending how many of them survive. They can press the cap, but Wild Bunch is positioned fairly enough to deal with it.
So at some point we're going to have Urwis trying to come in round the back, but really bit of a misplay driving there from Seba and Cactus as Pure Skill. Oh man, it's like Keystone Cops here, coming in one at a time, hitting into each other. So the cap started with 3 tanks in there, goes from 40 seconds straight away, quickly down to 30. But there's going to be coverage from the Wild Bunch here onto the cap circle, and we're going to get a heck of a fight in just a couple of seconds, Mojo.
L-Train, if he can, he will peek here for free and reset. That's the moment when Rage.Quit really needs to come in effect and do a huge damage to him. But Pure Skill getting wrecked a bit here.
So L-Train comes round, gets the peek, gets the shot. Seba getting smacked a couple of times there by the Wild Bunch as fire comes back into Cactus. Pure Skill backs off, his awful lot of damage. L-Train limping away around the corner on 5 health with a dead driver. So he's going to be, well, he can go around and take a shot for his team, but there needs to be shots coming in from Mr. Keller. They've lost the reset in the L-Train.
Dudulinho is a key player now that we need to watch after, because if Dudulinho manages to do a reset, blind reset from the back, from another side of the map, that will be the key. And there is some play by Agorni, but there will also be a counter push on the other side.
So Agorni coming over the top to get the reset as Valder and Kiki Kimia are going to come over the top for Kiki Merkat. Kiki Merkat, yep. And they're going to carry on with the push. They're going to try and focus onto Gremic next as well. So Phenomenal coming in to lend his gun as well. Gremic's just going to get himself around that corner, but he's taking so many shots on the way. Halu getting dropped here by Mr. Keller and Agorni. So Wild Bunch still with 5 tanks available to them. Rage.Quit only with 3 tanks available. And Rage.Quit just simply don't have enough time to see this one out, Mojo.
Yeah, Rage.Quit kind of underestimated the ability of Wild Bunch to sit in a corner and just wait for a proper moment to counterattack. The best weapon that would Rage.Quit usually use, Wild Bunch just used against them and overmatched them in an instant. This is what you get for a predictable play, because that is exactly what Rage.Quit did here.
And this is something we talked about earlier on, that sometimes Rage.Quit with a lot of their tactics are very predictable. So if they're doing something fairly standard and it's not executed flawlessly, then it's going to be something that the other teams know how to counter, and they counter it well. So, I mean, they effectively had nothing. They tried this little push at the start with the 2 tier 9 bat chats, and Wild Bunch read it, and then Rage.Quit just spent the next 3 minutes trying to decide what to do.
6 even. That's the worst part. But Gremic, the only guy alive here, wasting some final seconds. We will see a shift in the sides now, and the problem is the Wild Bunch in attack has really miserable record of 0%.
Yep. Now, the only reason the attacking team are doing this to run down the clock is it gives the teams just a little more time to talk amongst themselves.
Some fantasy points.
It's not even fancy points, but the match is over. The attacking team know the match is over. They can just rush out and die. They know they can just rush out and die. They know they have no chance to winning it. But they have that extra time just to say, look, okay, guys, let's talk amongst ourselves while we can here. Let's not rush into the next match. We can give ourselves a breathing space of maybe about a minute, 2 minutes. To be honest, Rage.Quit, you need more than that. mates to talk about
So
tactics.
far, we didn't even see them play. I mean, they were like AFK more or less. There was some, as you said, really a wimpy attempt of faking the cap, keeping all the tanks
Yeah.
off. They were looking, will Wild Bunch do some hasty reaction from the forest side in the rotation so they would catch them, which Wild Bunch had no reason because they had everything under control. And once they actually really committed to it, Wild Bunch just overmatched them because they were badly positioned. So rather bad display here. If they played aggressive from the start, I believe they would have a better chance. Like this, really bad. But Wild Bunch in a match, I remember they played before with them, was 3-0 up, and they still managed to lose 5-3 then. So maybe they took some lessons from that.
Okay, so let's have a look at the post-battle stats. As we can see, the damage being done here. So Valder and Mr. Keller coming top there from the Wild Bunch. Mr. Keller in the STB1, Valder with the Grill 15. After that, damage is fairly close, but then it drops off quite a bit there, going from 56 is phenomenal, and Urwis is a difference of about 500.
Dudolinho in 3090 did more damage than most of the tier 10s from Rage.Quit, so what's there more to say?
Yeah, and he was a defending spotter.
Yes, so he did that in one clip later. I mean, all damage number 1 skills, this was actually while he was killing Dudolinho when he was out of the shells. Look at this. Really a big misplay here by Rage.Quit. Slow game so far for no reason whatsoever. And we've seen that Rage.Quit is most dangerous when they actually play fast. And this is not fast. This is just having fast tanks, but playing like grannies.
Playing like grannies. Wow. Mojo not holding back there. So talk us through the highlights, Mojo, of what happened in that match.
Well, this is already a moment when the game went on after L-Train did a decap and ended up on lucky 5 HP.
5 HP.
But at that moment, when they clipped out everything they had on Train, there was a huge push in movement, in motion already by the Wild Bunch. We've seen it in last game when Oops played and Swift. Whenever either of those teams saw that some of their clippers are on reload, they would do an instant counter push and usually win a game. And this is exactly what even happened here. L-Train was just a big punching bag.
Okay, so let's have a look at the... We can actually jump straight into the lineups for round 2 here on Muravanka. Now, Mojo, Wild Bunch now on attack, Rage.Quit now on defense.
I like the Wild Bunch attack lineup much more. 57 is really decent. We've seen it, I think, used first by Utopia. You can put that 57 in a top cap because even when it's pushed, it has some armor and there is a high chance he will still do those 4 shells. And you can protect him with rotation by everyone else. Also, you can go in forest. From other side, the Rage.Quit really conventional, IS4, so he can bounce off those tracks. STB for red line, 3090 for bushes, TVP to cover. Also really standard lineup, no inventive hot water here or nothing.
Yep, nothing fancy, nothing new. Just sticking to what works, but it's also sticking to what can be countered. So, let's jump into round 2 here on Muravanka. Can the Wild Bunch make it 2-0, or will Rage.Quit bring it back to 1-1? How do you see this one going, Mojo?
I believe that Wild Bunch should play the upper cap here with this lineup, and they should play it rather aggressively without any feeling out big time, because they have everything that's needed to actually prevent Rage.Quit from dealing with it. They might even put those 3 guys in the cap.
Now, do you have a crystal ball here, Mojo? Because that looks exactly like what the Wild Bunch are going to do.
I was actually expecting Valdir to be a part of the cap, but it looks like... Ooh, Cactus, what a misplay while driving!
Cactus and L-Train getting shot at from either side. Cactus now has a damaged turret ring. L-Train's taking a lot of shots there on the TVP as well. They're being forced away from the capping circle. Now, the Wild Bunch have not put 3 tanks in the cap circle yet, as another one just goes in now, so they have 2 tanks in the capping circle. They need to perhaps get a third one just to do a bit more pressure, but it looks like they can't decide. It looks like a complete
It should be Valdir. It should be Valdir.
It looks like a complete bait, and as you say, Valdir's going to be the third one to come in. We're down to 24 seconds. Now, number 1 skills can come around the corner, but Rage.Quit, what are they doing, Mojo? They're trying to do a flank right now here, and they're in danger of not being ready in time.
It's not only that danger. It looks like Wild Bunch is actually positioned to push the upper side. So if they even start firing from down, they can just push on #1 skills and Seba and more or less clean them out for free.
Valder's
8
hit
seconds.
re-seconds the cap, but they're down to 7 seconds now. They're going to go out here and actually look for the fight. They're not going to stay in the cap circle. #1 skill gets dropped for Rage.Quit. Gremic in the background there has a damaged Amarok. He fixed it straight away. Now, Tank's taking damage here on the Wild Bunch. Valder's taking damage. So is Mr. Killer, Argoni, L-Train, Kiki Mirka, and Dudlino. So everyone in Wild Bunch is taking shots. Rage.Quit need to really get their focus fire right now and start taking individual tanks out of the game. Damage is spread across everywhere. We see 2 ricochets there coming off Urwis here. Kiki Meerkat gets dropped in the meantime on the Wild Bunch. Dudlino fighting off against Seba here.
He got tracked on so bad position here on the top of the hill, and Wild Bunch, after doing a great start of the game, they did such a blunder. They didn't continue the attack. They actually stopped there in place and tried to defend instead of just pushing on Seba, gating the ground there, and they got destroyed for no reason whatsoever.
Wild Bunch down to just 2 tanks left. Rage.Quit have only lost 1, which is #1 Skill, who was the guy who reset the cap. Everyone else who swept back in from Rage.Quit here have done really great with their damage. They've focused tanks, they've taken damage back themselves, but it's spread across the team. Now, Pure Skills gets dropped on Rage.Quit, but he's the AMX. That's not what Wild Bunch want to be focusing on right now. All we have left is phenomenal now on the Wild Bunch. 297 health, 1 more shot and he's dead, and it's 1-1, Mojo. What the heck happened that round?
It's a nonsense. Once they pushed there and they saw they have an open field after killing an Ice War, I mean, if there was anyone protecting the Ice War, he would already shoot them by now.
Yeah.
They would know there is more tanks there. Not shooting them meant there is no one except TVP and STB1 covering. Keep pushing, kill immediately. Push away all the forces away from that cap. That's a death trap. You don't want to be there. And while killing STB, they would be like on top of the part of the map, and then Rage.Quit would be on a lower part of the map. They could do the reloads, the flanks, whatever they want. Like this, they were just caught and shot from 3 sides for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, they had this plan at the start. It was working great for them. You had the triple cap. They got it down to 3 seconds. The shot came in, hit the TVP of it's not TVP, the T57 of Valder. Then they jumped on that IS-4, but like you said, they jumped on the IS-4 and they were like, where do we go now? Well, like, who do we shoot at? And
there was no reason. Like, they had momentum. If they just kept driving, they would win the game. They just threw it for nothing.
Okay, so let's look at the post-battle stats here and see the damage done. Seba and Gremic there from Rage.Quit coming top damage. STB and TVP, exactly as you said. Look at the damage there from Seba, Mojo.
He should have done more than like 1,500, 2K max here. I mean, if they pushed him straight away, he would just be dead, and they would have a safe back, and they would be able to. They would be the ones controlling the game,
and
because you can also cap from that side.
Yeah, and it's exactly like you said. So the Wild Bunch turned, rather than carry on and take those 2 out, they turned to try and deal with the flank coming in behind them, and it just allowed those 2 guys to just farm damage.
Even worse. After turning, they try to kind of fight after, but then it's already too late. All the crossfire is in motion. You saw Dudulino, who tried to push the STB1. He actually got tracked on top of the hill, and he stayed there. There was no way out of there.
Yep, so a really scrappy and misplay there, big time from the Wild Bunch. Now, let's have a look on the highlights here. So here we can see they jump on #1 skill, but like you said,
if they kept going, this would be a 100% victory. And this is already a moment when they lost.
They're running about everywhere. Seba's still up right now, getting all his shots. Gremic is still there, farming all his shots. Seba only takes a hit now, but up until that hit coming into him, Seba and Gremic still had a huge health pool to play with, and they could pick and choose their shots into the Wild Bunch, like shooting fish in a barrel, really, for both of them. Very, very easy game that they both had, and they must have been really enjoying it, to be honest. Well played if you have them in your fantasy team. That was a nice bit of damage done there.
Both teams in attack, horrible.
Yeah.
Just horrible.
Scrappy, definitely, yeah. Certainly something for both teams to work on. They can watch this. I'm sure they'll be analysing it afterwards and just be thinking, oh, God. Like.
But we can be thankful Murovanka is behind us.
Yes, Murovanka's done and dusted. Let's have a look now at map number 2, which is going to be on Ghost Town.
Conflict map.
Starting with the Wild Bunch on attack and Rage.Quit on defense.
Well, Wild Bunch actually has a really good record here on Ghost Town, about 60%, so it's pretty decent. I wouldn't say there is much behind. Their Rage.Quit is not much behind, but from the lineups, honestly, I prefer the Wild Bunch one. I like this one much more. E100 combo with 57s, T10s that you can stick in those caps. It's rather nice, and they have an FV heavy as a single shooter heavy of tier 10, so it's really good. Rage.Quit, those FV heavies, they can be really vulnerable to this. Really.
Okay, so once this is done, someone's going to come out here 2-1, but is it going to be Wild Bunch or is it going to be Rage.Quit? Let's find out as we jump into round number 1 on Ghost Town. Okay, so Wild Bunch attacking, Rage.Quit defending. Who do you favour more this time round, Mojo?
I would give some advantage here to Wild Bunch because by tank pick, I think they're more prepared. I don't know why is Rage.Quit sticking so much to those FE heavies. That's a bit old school. And look at this, they even didn't boost Yugi Ombre on A1, A2. They are trying to protect Seba. But from what? Because the only guy who could come, even possibly in corner, is phenomenal, and he will certainly not rush there alone.
No, just thinking, sometimes obviously people in chat and yourself and Daki sometimes highlight my amazing skills at getting player names wrong. And to my credit, I have never ever pronounced Yugi Homri as Juggy Homri, which I'm sure a lot of people would have been expecting. So, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting better.
As expected, Dudo and Mr. Kell are entering the cap. There is nothing to really stop them from this, especially not in this build. Yugi Ombre is the guy who is supposed to decap them, but that's... We've seen it doesn't really work like that. From time to time, yes. And they're even blind shooting position where he is. Wow, and that was a close one.
Just missed where he was as he gets a shot back because Mr. Keller spotted, so he's going to try and take out the terrain there. That was so close, landed right in front of him there. The shots from WGLEU and Mr. Keller. If only they could have seen how close it was. Looks like Cactus is coming round as well
seconds
here.
And honestly, Rage.Quit is far away from positions to push them. 10 seconds. What are they doing? 8.
Rage.Quit, anytime you want to reset the cap, you better do it so. 5 seconds. Hold your ground here, a Wild Bunch. You're going to get a cap. Free cap. Hello. Hello. They've done it.
Again.
What? What?
Yes, just a freebie. Like the last shell of that Rue even bounced. But when you rely entire tactic on Rue to decap, that's the most slow-minded thing you can actually do on this map. It doesn't work. You need a backup, even a double backup sometimes.
That tactic should never work. It's the biggest bait in the history of that map. Let's send some tanks into the cap circle.
This is so several seasons ago old.
Oh.
It should not work. And still teams fall. I mean, and this is one of the teams that actually managed to pull through to the second part of this season. Like, come on.
Guys, like, I know we were just joking earlier on about Muravanka being slow, but there's no need to have a match go that quickly.
I think this is going 2-0 for the Wild Bunch.
Hey, tell you what, here we go. Before we do it, who came top damage, Mojo?
Damage? Damage?
Who actually landed a shot? Nobody landed a shot.
Maybe Bacha did a couple. Maybe.
Let's see. Let's have a look at the post-match stats here.
No, it's Kiki.
Okay,
Kiki actually did entire clip. Nice work there.
Okay, well played, Kiki, getting damage done there, but...
Almost entire damage is done by Wild Bunch, but what damage?
Just get off this page right now. We don't need to see this. The whole second page is nothing. How do you even rank people in that situation? I mean, Yugi Homri, 9 shots. 9 shots. Mate.
Dude, like, what were his FEs doing? They didn't break the houses on the cap, so he had to break it himself while being boosted up. Then, even when he does that, it's not guaranteed that Ruby will actually connect those shots. It's just top of the turrets. It's really hard shots. And you could see in the last second, there was like a bounce of the turret of Mr. Keller.
The bounce at the end when it was at 0. Wow. I could only wish Daki was nearby to see Daki's reaction or hear Daki's reaction to that. Just the hello.
Everyone likes freebies.
Yeah.
Everyone likes freebies.
Rage.Quit just giving it to the Wild Bunch on the plate there. I'm pretty sure we don't have highlights for that round either. There's like nothing to highlight. we could actually just play the video again because that's probably shorter than a normal highlight reel.
It's probably the shortest game if this
Ever.
Even comes to a tiebreaker. You can know who will pick the side.
That's actually probably the shortest game ever in any round because even on like a 3-cap Muravanka or a Mines Rush, the tanks still have to drive it. I don't know. That's probably one of the quickest.
Yeah, but this is 2 camp. But it doesn't matter. Let's go to other side and see like what the guys have prepared for us.
Yep, let's have a look at the lineups here for round 2. So, Rage.Quit, I'm surprised they're still here and didn't Rage.Quit themselves after that performance. E100's here on the defense, Mojo.
2 E100s on defense. We've seen this lineup plenty times before. 1-1-3 probably to keep him in a field, so he can be a defensive person who can decap if needed and counter those T10s. 50Bs for some rotation and Bachat AP to flank with. Okay, I mean, even if they decide in one moment to push the Valley of Death, E100s are there to soak up the damage and then 50Bs and the rest to do it. But that's always a dangerous play because someone needs to control the cap. We'll see how it's done here because Rage.Quit knows to put 2 Bachats offensive in the cap and just flank with the other 5 guys from everyone else.
Okay, so Wild Bunch now defending. Rage.Quit now attacking. We've already played 1 round here of Ghost Town. Anyone who was just there with previous matches for Moon of Anchor are going to be surprised at that. Let's find out if this match can be a bit longer, a bit more damage traded, a bit more competitive, as we jump into round 2 here on Ghost Town, Mojo.
The most important thing here for Wild Bunch is not to spread all over the place. If their cap is triggered, they need to stick together because Rage.Quit has a basic tactic on this map to just show some bait on one side and then press with 4 or 5 guys in a flank of the enemy from the other.
That last round is another perfect case of why if we had TeamSpeak for Teams, that would have been amazing to listen to.
Yes, those moments I would really tune in and pay money to hear it.
Oh, that would have been really...
Don't even have to understand them.
Yeah.
I think just the tone of voice is more than enough.
The tone of voice, yeah, definitely. And like the Wild Bunch probably giggling to themselves that nobody's coming to reset.
Dudulinho spotting the other side, and there is a huge pressure on the cap now by majority of single shooter Rage.Quit heavies, and they're positioned to push forward immediately if someone touches the Hornet's nest. So that's their game plan. Gremek and Halo here already doing the proxy. Proxy is really important because they will see the movement of Wild Bunch tanks much before they actually emerge before the corner.
So they're going to try and get a wraparound here with 50Bs on one side, E100s coming around on the same side. Oh, but there's a counter flank as these 4 tanks in the middle, Mojo, come round, and they're going to get the jump onto Kiki.
This is exactly what we've been saying. Like, they really need to just make a good crossfire and fire. L-Chain and Agorni are phenomenal. They didn't bite it. They didn't bite.
Wild Bunch turn around instantly and just go after that sweeping advance from the middle pack. Their support from the 250Bs are coming in strong behind the E100 wall as Rage.Quit are just getting eliminated here by this gun line. The E100s can just tank the shots as the 50Bs unload their clips and then use them as meat shields. This is not going to go well for Rage.Quit at all, Mojo.
Whoa, the Cowboys are stranded here.
Oh man, this is really good play from the Wild Bunch. They could smell a bait, but they didn't take it.
Shark attack. Okay, Valdir is coming out to the reload here, so he will probably mop up what's left in the middle of the city. Losing those single shooter heavies, which are majority of their force here, is kind of the GG for Rage.Quit. And as my crystal ball told me, this will be a 2-0 on this map for the Wild Bunch, and they will move in strongly to the next part of the match. And more freely.
Valdir was getting his shots into Seba there as we see Dudulinho coming off reload and chasing him down. He's in the tier 9 Batchat chasing down against the tier 10 Batchat. Great play here from Dudulinho. It's another tracking shot onto Seba there. Dudulinho just going to finish him off. All we have left is Urwis and Rage.Quit in the Batchat on full health right now, but he's trying to face off against 5 tanks from the Wild Bunch. Looks like the Wild Bunch want to see if they could finish this one just as quick as the previous round, Mojo.
Well, they are doing it rather quickly and efficiently. So the response was there. There was a lot of forces together. And I know Rage.Quit thought that pushing on Kiki was a smart move, but Wild Bunch was right there behind the corner. It doesn't take a lot to turn a turret and shoot a guy. Yeah,
I mean, Wild Bunch were coming round. The thing is they were coming down with the E100s to come round the side, and at the same time...
But they didn't go there yet.
At the same time, they had the AMX 50Bs ready to come up with them as well, so they were expecting to come in the side. So once the T10s came round the top, those guys just went, screw going into the cap circle, we can just drive back up the road to the E100s came down and get behind all these heavies.
They were just not far enough down. Like, if Rage.Quit waited maybe 3-4 more seconds, maybe even take one shot while in a cap, I think they will have a
Yeah.
decent chance to kill Kiki for free
Yeah.
and then do some kind of positional fight. But like this is just master. They got shot in the back for so much.
Yeah, really bad timing on the play there from Rage.Quit. So let's have a look at the damage done here. Valder and Phenomenal leading the charge there for the Wild Bunch. Urbis doing the damage there for Rage.Quit. And then the next two players again coming from Wild Bunch Mojo.
Valder is really performing magnificently last several matches here. He's always doing high damage in all the tanks that are given to him. So from the scrappy start of the season for him, he's actually proving to be a real asset for Valbunch.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Valder is one of the standout players on that team. Phenomenal was a player as well. You highlighted at the start when we were talking about the list of players, and Agorni there as well coming in the E100. Mr. Kella, a player we've talked about as well, not doing so great there in the 113, but I mean, that's okay. The rest of his team were able to...
Yeah, we said Mr. Kella is more than happy to do 0 if it takes to win the game.
Yeah. If the team perform and he's not doing so great in that situation, it's not necessarily a bad thing because he has his days where he steps up as well. Poor Halu there in the 113 getting wrecked and only got one shot back in return, so... Let's have a look at the highlights here, Mojo, and this is where we can see they come round here, but the E100s are not fully committed, so they can just turn around.
Look the positioning, also look at Dudolino, who already positioned there indefinitely to cover Kiki, so he can do additional shots. And these guys, all they had to turn and just push in their backs. There was no real pressure in them. The Rage.Quit team was off positions. They had no means to do any serious damage to those tanks rotating.
Before they killed Halu, they'd already lost 2 tanks doing that push against Halu. So already
Kiki,
that was like GG for them.
Even Kiki actually out-survived 2 of the 4 guys that attacked him. He out-survived them.
Yeah, as I was saying, as they came down, they'd already lost 2 before they could even kill him. And you had the E100s leading the charge with the AMXs coming behind them. And at this stage, it was just mop-up duty from the Wild Bunch, finishing off what was left of Rage.Quit. And a strong play there from the Wild Bunch. So, very good play, very interesting play, handing that 2 rounds on Ghost Town to the Wild Bunch.
Quickly.
Yeah,
swiftly.
and swiftly. I'm really actually disappointed in the way we don't have a highlight for the first round. I'm going to look forward to watching this broadcast back just to see how insanely quick that one went.
Well, Ghost Town was everything on contra to Murovanka, where we had to wait for a while for something to happen, but we are ready for the next map, I think.
Indeed, yes. Let's have a look at the lineups for map number 3, where we're going to be playing on Prokhorovka.
Valbunch in attack with M40 RT, probably played by Dudolino as usual, and we've seen them use a Lorraine RT against OR, especially when they were nibbling on that poor 113 in the center. And some rotational force here by Batchats. Iceland, this is pretty standard lineup for using an RT, and we have Rage.Quit. They have 2 heavy tanks. That can go a bit against them, because if you want to play against artillery, you really want to close in fast, so that RT doesn't get a lot of shots. Now I really just hope Valbunch will not go to the village.
Okay, so let's jump into Prokhorovka. Wild Bunch 3, Rage.Quit 1.
Prokhorovka, one of the first maps in the game. Teams start at the regular spawn points as they do in standard battles. Bases are separated from each other by the railway, so the defending team has to choose whether to send their vehicles to the left side, playing them in the centre, or to the right of the railway, occupying the hill and a part of the village. The attacking team usually attacks the first base. However, the teams often go for face-to-face confrontations, 7-on-7, in the hilly terrain at the centre. That's why both teams frequently use vehicles with good gun depression angles and sturdy turrets.
Okay, so here we go. I was just going to say, Mojo, as we were talking about the lineups there, I'm kind of disappointed in both teams because there's no T95.
Yeah, double T95 for the win. I think that's actually the mistake of Rage.Quit. They should have 2 95s and made a crossfire. Or back-to-back, mate. That way the light cannot flank you.
I wanted that T95 to do so well, and it just didn't happen. Gutted.
Well, pure skill doing initial spots here, and he does not see an I7, he just sees Agorni here. Agorni entering this bowl here, it's really bold move. Like really bold move, because honestly, if Rage.Quit had a lot of tanks here in the middle, they would just enter and kill him. But he's expecting that the majority of his team can also cover him. That's why they have this I7 who can press. This is interesting play, because both teams actually are positioned in the woods. Now we need to see, will Dudolino come in effect? Will he make a difference?
Yep, both teams sitting down here on what's commonly known as the roadside of the map. This was actually the first map I ever saw someone play when I saw someone playing World of Tanks, actually, Mojo.
Really?
Yep, first map I ever saw someone play. And he was fighting in this area, and they were arguing over which shell to use because the guy was stuck. But yeah.
You know, I remember still what was my first map I played ever in Tanks.
Which was
55,000 games ago.
Wow. Which was?
Mines!
Mines! Yeah, this is the first time I ever saw World of Tanks being played on this map.
So, a pretty slow start here, but Valdir took over the position from Agorni in that little bowl. And I remember Laughter liked to call it like a rice bowl, something like that.
Rice bowl?
Yeah, because usually what goes in doesn't come out alive. It's just gets eaten up.
It's eaten up and left behind, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Pure skill taking a shot there, Mojo, and he actually gets damaged tracks as well, so he's stuck. It looks like Valdir popped over on him.
Yep. It's definitely his damage. But also, what is important to know for this map, Rage.Quit so far has really horrendous defense stats here, like 25% overall. In attack, they're quite good, but in defense, quite bad. And we will see that they improve some decision making here, because it usually is not their cup of tea.
Very campy, very defensive here from Rage.Quit. Just all balled up in that corner. Now, Wellbunch are in the same flank, but they know roughly that Rage.Quit's going to be all over there. Lots of blind shots coming out. Just trying to see if they can connect with them and try and chip away health, because any health they can take now is a massive advantage for them. But at some point, someone's going to go too far forward, Mojo, and get destroyed, isn't they?
Kiela is actually perma-spotted now, and he faded just now before he fired. But Rage.Quit has all the info that he needs about the Wallbunch. Wallbunch has actually none. They have no clue where these tanks are. And the important thing is, Rage.Quit is actually not firing. They're waiting. They're waiting when the actual push from Wallbunch comes, and so they can surprise them with the amount of tanks that are in the forest.
Yep.
Otherwise, if the shells are just flying blindly all over the place, the Wallbunch would get an important piece of information that most of these tanks are right there.
And something that makes pushing up this flank all the more difficult is there's no real hard cover. There's some pure skill getting eliminated there. They got hit twice, so the killing
Gorny
shot...
is usual playing aggressive here and weeding him out here. So he's usually the guy from the Wallbunch that they will just send him and take some charge in. But that's really not enough, because now he's in a bit of a bad situation.
So the killing shot there finally came in from Mr. Kella in the STB-1. Argoni has to be very careful here. He doesn't have any hard cover really behind him. This is what I was going to say. On this flank, there's some vehicle wreckages you can use as cover. Argoni needs to perhaps use that RU, but nope. He is eliminated for overextending. But number one, skill in return gets absolutely pummeled. He's left on 32 health, and he's dead now on Rage.Quit. So tank for tank, trade for trade right now. The Wild Bunch is working in their favor.
So far, they are positioned really well. You could see those three mediums shooting from F1. Yes, Agorni fell, one of their best players in a bachat. But Rage.Quit lost a light tank spotter and a heavy tank anchor in return. Gremek, I think they will have to actually leave in here.
Yep, Gremek, you're getting left behind, mate. This is a goodbye from the rest of your team, because you do not have the speed to cut across like everyone else does. Rotation here coming from Rage.Quit, so you're going to have some tanks lined up in the middle area as well, and
he's
the
actually
back corner.
going for it. He's going for it.
This is bold. If he hugs the red line, he might actually make it.
It's just about a Wild Bunch, because they're really not spotting the middle that much.
He's done it. He's safe now. So on Rage.Quit, we have Cactus with a damaged gun, but he'll have Armorer as one of his skills, so it's not going to affect the aim time of the Batchat too much, or it's aiming that much, but still at long range it could actually make all the difference.
We've seen one game Wild Bunch played here on Prokhorovka. It was really scrappy one with not really good synchronization between tanks, who will go spot when, who will shoot what when. Like we had a light tank that was late. Mr. Kella was playing their I7, I remember. He was getting wrecked before the guys were actually supporting him. So it was all scrappy and quite a bad game, but it looks they worked quite a lot on it, on timings and everything. So it's working much better in their favor. But still, 4 minutes and 30 seconds till the end, 20 seconds actually, so the time is ticking. Rage.Quit is still well in this game.
Okay, so Gremek now getting shot at. Crossfire coming in from the Wild Bunch. Look at all these hits coming in right now from the Wild Bunch. So many shots as the autoloaders are trying to do what they can to get as much damage focused onto Gremek, but I mean, the E5 is not a tank that's necessarily easy to shoot at from the front. It's lower front plates where you're going to want to go for, but
Close.
splash from artillery just missing him as well. Grimmick, like Rocky Balboa right now, taking shots from every direction, but he's still in the battle right now.
But more importantly for the Wild Bunch, they know where he is, and he's nowhere in position to decap the pressure here. They will actually have to come out with all the tanks they have, the STB and 3 butt-shots, and try to do, let's say, a manual reset up close and personal on Phenomenal. And Wild Bunch knows it. Gremek is stuck here. He ain't going anywhere. They just need to worry where are the butt-shots going to hit.
So Kiki Meerkat sitting down south of the map is just trying to watch for, it looked like Halu was wanting to go all the way south but started to come back up into Middle Road, or he's coming back up in support of Seba now. So Wild Bunch, are they going to put anyone else in the cap, Mojo?
They must, because Phenomenal just left the cap, so he would try and spot Gremek. He wanted to give artillery another shot because Arti was already aimed. I think Arti actually should have just fired blindly, honestly there. And Mr. Kella, there you go, that's the boost of the cap.
Now, the Wild Bunch have to be a bit careful in a way as well, because we're down to within 3 minutes now for the end of the match. So if they don't cap here, the Wild Bunch are going to have to go for a fight, because Rage.Quit can just run away and hide if it gets close enough to it. Urwis taking a lot of shots as he comes over to try and get peeks onto the cap so and get vision. He's taking a lot of shots from a lot of different directions. A lot of missed shots coming. There's 2 shots that should have finished him off there. You have to be careful. Grimmick can get shot back into these tanks. Mr. Keller actually shooting further back behind Urwis here, as the rest of Rage.Quit looking to wrap around and get into the cap reset. And then we're going to get a lot of individual fights all over the place here, Mojo. Now, Doodlinho gets the kill on Urwis with the artillery. Rage.Quit are down now to 3 tanks. The Wild Bunch have 6, including their artillery. This is GG. This is going Wild Bunch's favour.
I believe Wild Bunch really set up their defense quite well there with Valdir, Kiki and L-Train in their back. They just massacred those butt-shots trying to flank them from the Rage.Quit. And E5 and STB were definitely in no position to do any kind of decap, especially with that gun on E5.
Halu get himself tracked there as another parting shot comes in. Can Valdir get his shot to hit? He does. Halu just gets over this ridgeline now, 204 health. Like I said, Mojo, what Rage.Quit can do is run away and hide here. Now, Wild Bunch have to hunt down Halu. There's like a minute and 30. Halu's thinking to himself, where can I hide?
Mate, they don't have to hunt him down, because when they cap with like 3 guys and they have more than enough.
That's less than enough, yes, okay. So the timer's in their favour. They can just go in and cap. So, looks like Wild Bunch are going to... Oh, actually, L-Train's going to find him and kill him.
Yeah, it's more than enough to send 1 guy and deal with it.
There we go. So, Wild Bunch with 6 tanks left and a heck of a lot of health in those tanks. It went the distance, but they win it quite comfortably with...
Wild Bunch pretty much spanked Rage.Quit. In last 3 games, there is no other way to say it. It was so one-sided, like... I don't know, like they knocked them out and they kept beating them because these guys didn't wake up after the first one.
Stop, he's already dead.
Well, after that first cap, and then they just kept.
It's like, whoa,
Stay down,
whoa.
stay down.
Okay.
Sorry, but that's how it looks.
Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to what we said. What they're doing is predictable. Rage.Quit brings some new stuff. Like, you can't do the old tried and tested, this works, because it worked once or twice, but teams know to counter it, and you have to be a bit more imaginative, a bit more come in from left field.
That move from Agorni when he moved into spot, that was ultra risky.
Yeah.
Ultra risky, but it worked.
Yeah, I mean, they wrecked the IS-7 for that in return, so let's have a look at the post-battle stats, having a look at the damage done here. Mr. Killer and STB having all the fun in the world there. 29 shots, Mojo.
I actually thought L-Train will be the top damage here because I've seen him in really good positions to fire. But Mr. Keller actually.
Yeah, Mr. Keller just beating him by 1 shot. So when you shoot 29 compared to 17, maybe your luck's going to come in. You're going to connect with some of them.
Well, Dudo and Arti doing decent job. He was really unlucky because he didn't do any direct connections there on E5. But look at this.
Urwis, Seba. I mean, come on, guys. Come on.
Urwis and Seba.
Are you 3 tanks and 0 damage? 4 I mean, a Batchat gets 340 from Cactus, but between 4 tanks, 2 of them tier 10s, 3 tier 10s, 340 damage. Like, guys, that is just, to be honest, there's no other way to describe that. Now, Mojo, talk us through this.
This is the moment when Agorni already pushed and they weeded out where pure skill is, which is really important when you want to attack the forest. Number one skill did take out here on Agorni, but he took too much. Maybe if he actually tried to hide behind the bushes far back, it would be much better. Look at the advantage in HP. It's outrageous.
Yep, 7,102 HP finishing on.
The only guy who more or less got shot on is Agorni. Everyone
Agorni,
else
when,
received
yeah,
like max of one shot.
when
That's
Agorni did that crazy over-aggressive play, everyone else like completely fine. So, yeah, everything going in the Wild Bunch's favour. Nice quick match. Can Wild Bunch seal the deal though? They're on match point. We're going to go into the lineups now and have a look and see, can they do it? Can they survive, Mojo? Can they finish it off?
Well, Rage.Quit has a really good history on attack on Prohorovka. That's what I've been mentioning, like almost 80%. They've been able to trick a lot of teams into misplays. This is an old Ding lineup with 3 Object 140s, 3 Bachats and RU, so it's flexible. You can push the middle with it, you can go left, right, you can rotate. It's really a lot of things. That's why Ding actually plays it. So it's all about how you do it. On the other hand, Wild Bunch, I wouldn't go directly one-on-one on middle with these. They'll have to do it a bit different.
Okay, so can the objects do well as a wolf pack, or are the Wild Bunch going to show that they are the real animals of this battle? Let's find out as we can jump into Prokhorovka. Match point, Wild Bunch. Is it going to go their way, or are Rage.Quit going to sneak one back?
Honestly, it could be a Rage.Quit game now. It's just a matter how much Wild Bunch studied them, and they should have studied them a lot.
Yeah.
By now.
Also matters how much Rage.Quit are hurting from the, I mean, what, 4 games in a row they've just been wrecked by?
Yeah, but we've seen Wild Bunch, we've seen Rage.Quit come back from some really strange situations. Wild Bunch doing a decent choice here, pressing most of the tanks to the forest. The last game, what killed Rage.Quit was, we said already, when you have an RT in opposite team, you need to close distance. And Rage.Quit was just sitting there in forest and waiting for something to happen. Really aggressive start here.
So Wild Bunch doing the same kind of defensive line that Rage.Quit did, but they're taking it further up. So they're trying to get dominance of that side of the match and get vision of that side of the map as well. Pure Skill's driving out in the middle here for Rage.Quit, trying to get spotting damage, but already the objects are backing out of this area. They don't feel like it, Mojo. They don't like it.
Interesting start here, because Rage.Quit already gave up on these positions and Wild Bunch lined up, and they're sending WGLEU like a rock from the sling to check out what's going on in the forest, and he's already more than halfway there. So by now he knows only way for Rage.Quit to be anywhere there must be on far away positions on J1, K1.
If only WGLEU could have got over the other side to see that retreat, that could have been really telling. Now, Rage.Quit going to rotate all the way down and through into the city, Mojo. Could this be a strong area if they want to start a cap on base too?
So Phenomenal and Valdir already watching it. So when you want to pressure the cap and plate, the key thing is... Oh, look at this. Wild Bunch is already rotating because they know what's going on now. The key thing is you actually have to do it a bit by surprise and get forward positions. Now, they're using the terrain in their advantage because there are no real spotters from Wild Bunch here, but sooner or later it's just not gonna be enough. I mean, Phenomenal is sitting badly here, but I think he can just slide off with taking like 1 or 2 shots.
Phenomenal, still not seen any of these tanks. Near did Valdir. Valdir rotated back and came away from the track line. This is actually really... So Seba spotted, Phenomenal gets spotted. Phenomenal's going to get shot at, but nobody connects. Phenomenal's only seen 1 tank. Now, how quickly are the Wild Bunch going to react to this? They know nobody's on that flank. WGLEU's going to go down. Is the rest of Wild Bunch going to come over and help Mojo?
Oh, they must, because they already saw 1 Bachat, that's Seba, and they saw 1 Object 140, that's, I think, Cactus. So they know that actually entire team of Rage.Quit is there. You don't really split those that much.
So Valdir going back to spot in the middle line. WGLEU's still checking out that area, and he's going to say, guys, it's safe, nobody's here. So that means that Kiki and his buddy are going to come back up from the middle now. Wild Bunch setting out their defensive line across the rail tracks and just saying to Rage.Quit, go on then, mate, you guys make your move, we're ready to receive it.
Okay, this is a good play. WGLEU is checking out the lower side. They're positioning the tanks here. Now what they must watch is Rage.Quit likes to push an A line sometimes with couple of tanks and make a big overmatch there. So this is what Wild Bunch needs to defend against. If they do a lot of damage there, if they get greedy and just push on Kela, which can happen, That's when the moment when Phenomenal and the guys, if they clip them out, that will be their game.
Have you seen that it is possible to jump a Batcha over the rail tracks here on one of the low carriages?
I've done it myself, yes.
Yeah, we've
It's
never
fun.
seen it in a competitive match, but I'd love to see it like a game-winning move, someone jumping over completely, surprising
what
someone.
Ryan is talking about, when you say those lower carriages with a flat surface, if you just rush your bachat over it, you can just literally jump over it on the other side. It would look spectacular, movie-like. And Halu is getting wrecked here on top of the hill. He's on only one shot.
Dudelinho coming up with a little sneaky play from the back, but he gets dropped from another teammate. Dudelinho getting a great play there, getting Halu spotted. So, Rage.Quit down one tank. Health pool's quite similar right now, but Wild Bunch still have all the guns in the game. Rage.Quit starting the cap, but starting to break out of the cap. And they're going to try and get the focus here onto Argorni, who's over the rails. Kiki Meerkat backing off there. Valder just trying to play stay away and say, hey, back off from my teammates. Rage.Quit don't really know what they're doing here, Mogus. They're
They
not focusing
should know
anyone.
that these guys on the reload, this is the last moment when they can actually do a counter push, and they're not.
Rage.Quit, pick a direction and go with it, mate. Either go in the middle or go in the top. But right now, just stop getting shot by the Wild Bunch. You're going over piecemeal one at a time here. Pure Skills coming over to try and get shots into the back of Valder. But Valder, he bounces off the back of his turret. Valder facing off against two objects here, doing damage. Now, the Wild Bunch have only lost one tank. Rage.Quit now lost two. Now lost three as Gremic falls. Phenomenal getting the kill there. Wild Bunch completely in control as Rage.Quit have just thrown themselves at the mojo, and they just look like a bunch of individuals.
No, I mean, Rage.Quit got, well, this is 5th in a row. They got it handed to them. I mean, Wild Bunch is not making the same mistake as in first match when they play against them. When they also steamrolled them 3-0 and then just lost 5 in a row. But that's an all Wild Bunch from another period, much less experienced. They had a lot of tough matches since then. They almost beat Ding in one moment. I mean, the match ended up in 5-2 for Ding, but 2 games ended up on one Ding guy on one shot. So that's a really close one. And
This is exactly what the Wild Bunch needed. Exactly. They've been
3
needing
points
to
in the
step
start.
up and do this.
3 points in the start.
Yep. 3 points to the start and
a clean victory.
to have nice clean victories, to have a dominating performance, to have a cheeky little cap rush on Ghost Town that's going to inspire them all and get them
That
really...
made a good laugh for everyone
Yeah.
except for the guys who got kept.
Yeah.